Hi there. My name is Alawa. I go by Alawa Lani. That is my my artist name and my author name. And I wrote a book recently. I self-published this book called The Gospel of Ayahuasca. And it's on Amazon. I'll put the link in the video. And I just thought I'd read a little bit of it. I'm going to start with the prologue today, where I kind of set the tone for the book. And the book is based on my exploration of ayahuasca in the past. It's been about 15 years now, and I've been on the yoga path for close to 30 years. And then I got into plant medicine, particularly working with ayahuasca. And I've also been working with A Course in Miracles. Those have been the three main modalities that I've really worked with in my healing journey. So I'm going to read a little bit, and I would love your comments, your feedback. Let me know if you want me to read more. This just kind of hopefully will whet your appetite to read more. The book is available on Amazon. It's not too expensive, and it's not a very long book. It's about 250 pages, but it's not, each page is not very dense. So, and there's some pictures. Okay, anyway, here's prologue. The prologue is called Walk in Glory. Walk in glory with your head held high, and fear no evil, for I walk there by your side. And that's from A Course in Miracles. Here we go. Who do men suppose I am? Jesus is supposed to have said. And the answer is well known. He was the Son of God and the Christ. Now, let's suppose ayahuasca were to ask the same question in regard to itself. How would we answer that question? Well, of course, it would depend on who you ask. For some, ayahuasca is merely a drug, even if it is admitted to be helpful to some. At best, as a drug, it can give some relief from depression, anxiety, and other forms of psychological distress. And at worst, it is potentially addictive or creates a dependence, and with negative side effects, merely temporary results and potentially permanent damage. Others go further to claim that it is witchcraft, demonic, an agent of the devil, and by no means to be dabbled with, not unless one values one's soul. I messed up there. Still others grant its potential value as a plant medicine that can bring physical and psychological healing to those who partake of it. Yet they will say that such benefits could be similarly derived from more natural and less risky means. Then there are others who speak of it as madre and also madrecita, as well as abuelita, seeing it as a loving mother and even grandmother, the living embodiment of the Divine Mother, whose blood is freely offered to all to receive and commune with her wisdom and love, and to ultimately become like her. Others, too, say that ayahuasca is what the original Amrita or Soma was, the divine elixir of the Holy Vedas that grants the diviner Amrita or immortality. Some even claim that it can connect the partaker of it with Christ consciousness or the power of perfect unconditional love. Clearly, much depends on who you talk to. But what about me? What is it for me? Well, I'll tell you. No idea. No freaking idea. And I like to reside in that space of not knowing, that space of I don't know. I feel it's the most healthy and honest space to inhabit in regard to this question and for most such questions. In fact, I have often said that the three magic words are not I love you, but rather I don't know. Indeed, the words I love you are not only overused and often not said with real feeling force, but there is a sense in which, in that phrase, love is trapped between I and you. And it would perhaps be more correct and helpful to say, we are love. But I get ahead of myself. When I say that I don't ultimately know what ayahuasca is, and thus I hesitate to say anything definite in this regard, This is not to say that I cannot share with you what it has done for me and what it has meant for me. This is exactly what I intend to do in these pages. I mean, I can't deny the lessening of fear and anxiety I felt from the first time I drank ayahuasca, nor can I deny the feeling of connectedness I have after drinking, the deeper perception of beauty, the simpler joy of being. Nor can I discount the invaluable nights of fellowship with kindred seekers, the divine music and laughter we shared, the sacred council we held together in those holy ceremonial spaces. And above all, the profound insight that I received and continue to receive of the nature of the psyche, and the ability to more clearly discern between truth and illusion, the real and unreal, love and fear. My friends, these are no small gifts. Indeed, I am writing this for inspirational purposes, and perhaps the whole ultimate message here is that yes, we can free ourselves from fear and suffering to live a truly fulfilling life of joy and purpose, one in which we ourselves become the gift of inspiration that we have received, the living proof and example of the unconditional love that we all truly seek. Perhaps it is presumptuous of me to say that, and perhaps that goes against my stated agnosticism above, and I accept that. I could be wrong. But I feel free to contradict myself here, at least in that regard. I am large, I contain multitudes. That was Walt Whitman that said that. But I will still say that I cannot and will not say anything categorical or absolute about what ayahuasca is. And this I have learned partly from Aya, while at the same time acknowledging its fruits. And I do believe that it is only by its fruits that we can know it, or anything for that matter. That's why I've started to call myself a Gnostic agnostic. I'm agnostic for the reasons already stated. I hesitate to say anything ultimate about the ultimate questions of life. And yet I have myself experienced what feels to be ultimate in regard to ultimate things. So in this sense, I am both Gnostic and agnostic. I know what I know. I also know that I don't know. And forgive me for a little silliness, but just maybe I don't know that I know. And maybe, baby, I know that I know. And you know that I know that you know that I know. Obviously, I must think I know something. Otherwise, I wouldn't be writing this. But I can't help but think that this writing is not at least made possible by Madre, and not just all of my many years in the ivory tower of academia. What is one of the biggest reasons people don't write things or say things after all? It's fear. And fear can take many forms. None of us here are strangers to fear, and not the least people who drink ayahuasca. For as with writing and publishing a book, what is the reason that people don't try ayahuasca? It's fear. It takes a certain amount of courage and free thinking to approach this medicine in the first place. So much of this book will be singing the praises of this ancient plant medicine as a way to work through your fears, for beyond your fear is the love that we all seek. Again, I know I am speaking categorically, but what else can I do? I know what I know. And I know that if you knew what I know, you would know what I'm talking about. Why? Because by this juncture, I've either sat in or facilitated many dozens of ayahuasca ceremonies and seen firsthand the shift in myself, as well as in the participants. I myself have partaken of this Amazonian plant medicine well over 100 times, closer to 200 by now, and can certainly see a transformation over time. Of course, I cannot credit ayahuasca totally with this transformation, for there were other factors involved. But I can truly and honestly say that La Medicina has played a very big role in the alchemical shift I have experienced in my life. So I invite you to join me here for a deep dive into a sacred mystery, with the hope and trust that these words will be of some help in making sense of your ayahuasca experience and possibly inspire some to take the plunge. Please keep in mind that while I will certainly bring in science and attempt to say some valuable things about the history and traditions of ayahuasca where relevant, this book is taking more of a spiritual and inspirational approach than to provide you with a lot of names, dates, facts, and figures. These are all important, of course, but they can be found elsewhere. I take this approach because I feel most honest and confident in writing what I know, not culling information from secondary sources. but mainly it is because I see the great value in living testimony that is written from a place of respect, integrity, honesty, and pure desire to bring clarity and understanding to a subject that will certainly become more and more controversial and discussed as this particular plant medicine becomes more widely known and used. And yes, it certainly will in time to come. So gospel. Why the word gospel in the title? Well, gospel just means good news, and as far as I'm concerned, this is all good news indeed. And it's being sprouted from rooftops and quietly making its way to the ends of the earth, to people of all nations and relations. It appears to be part of a movement towards spirituality, which is personal, even mystical, and away from religion, which tends to be collective and almost by necessity, doctrinal and dogmatic. Church attendance is clearly down, and more people seem to be moving away from the outward trappings of religion toward inner seeking, which is not to say that Christ is any less important in our world, and it's not to say that I am in some way trying to supplant or supersede the Christian gospel, nor even to plant or seed ideas in your mind, or that ayahuasca is trying to do so. No, if anything, I intend to show how what has been termed Christ consciousness may be discovered even in something that many followers of Christ might feel is anathema to their religion, yet it need not be so. And it also need not be the case that a historical personage named Jesus Christ ever actually existed for Christ consciousness to be true, nor for the person of that name depicted in the gospel accounts. Indeed, I believe there is a good case to be made that the Jesus of the Gospels is more mythical than historical. Yet even so, messianic consciousness is real, and I will touch upon that in this book, as well as other matters of interest in this regard. To return then to our initial question, the question really is not so much who Jesus was or what ayahuasca is, but the real question, and perhaps the greatest existential question, is, who am I? And related to that is, what do others suppose I am? If the answer to this question is still a supposition in your mind, then this book could very well be of some help. So please, welcome on in. That's the prologue of the book, and then it starts the first chapter. Anyway, it's good to read your book aloud because you could see how it reads, and I really should have done that before I published it, but but I think it read pretty well. I noted some things I could have, some word choices I could have, made that would have made it a little stronger. But for the most part, I'm happy with how that read, and I hope you are too. I would love your feedback, your comments. Let me know if you want to hear more of the book. I probably should read the whole book, but it's on Amazon. And I worked hard on it. It actually came through in just a couple weeks, coming up to this past Christmas. I did it like the 2 weeks before Christmas, and then I edited it for the next month, and it still needs some editing, as I noted just now. But anyway, thanks for listening, and see you soon. Bye for now.